Now, similar changes. First start off as a heifer 3 years old, she goat at 3 years old, and a ram at 3 years old. It changed after the enslavement in Egypt. After they came out of slavery after 430 years, it changed to a bullock and two rams. The two rams symbolize the two birds should be of the same pedigree, which God spoke in concerning when they came back to line this up, make sure they met, that Elizabeth and Mary was cousins, making John the Baptist and Jesus being kin, which of the same pedigree, which was symbolized by this. But the bullocks was not of the same pedigree, even though it was a beast of prey. So uh, 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 these two, John the Baptist and Jesus, was going to be born as cousins. But what happened was God had to catch Elijah and Moses up, which detached him onto the mercy seat, which was going to be Jesus, which is symbolized by the mercy seat, which was going to cover the Ark of the Covenant, which was going to be the blessings of the 12 tribes of Israel, who was Jacob, which the whole world would be saved. But the Gentiles didn't want to honor that. They were going to take and replace the law God gave to them with the law of democracy, because they was the Antichrist. It was against Jesus Christ, which is Antichrist. Now let me show you where Jesus called up. Moses was called up. Deuteronomy chapter 34, Holy Bible, still in the Holy Bible. This is the only book you're going to find this in, King James Version. And Moses went up from the plains of Moab unto the mount of Nebo, to the top of Pisgah, that is over against Jericho. And the Lord showed him all the land of Gilead unto Dan, and all Naphtali, and the land of Ephraim, and Manasseh, and all the land of Judea unto the utmost sea, and the south, and the plains of the valley of Jericho, the city of palm trees, unto Zoar. And the Lord said unto him, This is the land which I swear unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob, saying, I will give it unto thy seed. I have caused thee to see it with thy eyes, but thou shalt not go over there. So Moses, the servant of the Lord, died there in the land of Moab, according to the word of the Lord. And he buried him in a valley, in the land of Moab, over against Beth-peor. But no man knoweth of his sepulchre until this day. Nobody even knew this, where he was, until this day. And Moses was 120 years old when he died. His eyes was not dim, nor his natural face abated. And the children of Israel wept for Moses and the palms of Moab 30 days, for the days of weeping and mourning for Moses were ended. Now, that's one. God didn't call one of. That's one of the cherubim, which was going up to be attached onto the mercy seat, which was Jesus Christ, who had the authority to give the mercy seat, which was symbolized by the blessing that God had bestowed upon Abraham, started by God, had given a similar mixtures here. That's right, because he knew the Gentiles was going to come and destroy the word of God, but he created the symbols here. So when Moses come back and speak to you and show you the things in time and show you that God spoke these things, you'll know this here. Now, go to Kings, 2 Kings, chapter 2. It reads, I'm going to 12, verse 11. And it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. And Elisha saw it, and he cried, my father, the chariot of Israel, and the horsemen thereof. And he saw him no more, and he took hold of his own clothes, and rent them into pieces. This was the other messenger of the covenant, which was Elijah, which completed the two cherubim, which was going to be attached onto the mercy seat in heaven to become back here and be born as babes. Now, that's where the other words, the symbol will take you up. It started as these here, walking here on earth. It's because he knows the seed, but didn't know these here, so God had to put it in codes and in symbols. But only the true man of God, only the prophet at the time when he returned, he will know these things here when they go and try to democratize the whole world and take the democracy from him. The Antichrist was going over there and do these things here. God knew this here. Okay, here we go. We got from that state. But now we got to go back to Isaiah chapter 6. Once they went up and was attached onto each other, they had come down, all three attached onto each other. Go to Isaiah chapter 6, verse 1. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw also the Lord sitting upon a throne high and lifted up, and his train filled the temple. Above it stood the serpents. Each one had 6 wings. With twine he covered his face, and with twine he covered his feet, and with twine he did fly. And one cried unto another, Holy, and said, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is filled full of his temple. Once God had caught the spirit of Moses up and carried them on up to heaven, he created he attached them onto the mercy seat, which became wings, because they had come back down. Then you know they was coming back down to the earth to be born, and the symbols had to change. Once they come back down to earth, they had come back down in human form, and it would been kept, went from a she-heifer, she-goat, a ram, a bullock, 2 rams, and it had to be come down as human form, being born as human, and walk upon the human form and be slain. But one would be slain first, but the turtle dove and the pigeon was yet to come, because these couldn't come until the last tree, and they had to have these to fly back up, and the dove and the pigeon would have to go up together after following John the Baptist. And when they come back down, when the dove go up and take the pigeon with him, which would be entombed in him, the dove would come down. The pigeon was known for messenger, a carrier, messenger pigeon. That means this one would come back down at the point in time and turn into the symbol of the black horse spoken of in Revelation chapter 6. This would be the black horse, be the black prophet that was going to be returned back as the messenger of pigeon. The magic pigeon was going to fly up with Jesus after they be slain. The spirit's going to go up, one the dove, which would be Jesus Christ, and the pigeon was going up, which is a rock dove. He going up with 2 doves. What he is, pigeon is a rock dove, and this is a dove, wild dove. So he coming on up with him, but this one's going to come back on his own, tread in the air, and be born at the point of time, meaning the return of Jesus Christ, because he had to be the messenger of the covenant of the return of Jesus Christ, preparing the way for the return of Jesus Christ, and that I am this messenger. Okay. Either they cry, holy, holy, holy. Now, it says in chapter 6, Isaiah chapter 6, where we're at here, that the 2 wings cover the face. That means that he didn't have nothing to do with the flight. So John the Baptist covered the face. That means John the Baptist was going to be the first messenger of a covenant. The 2 wings covering feet was myself attached on to Jesus Christ. And Jesus Christ, the 2 wings in the middle, which was Jesus Christ, which is the same as the voice coming up through the between this here on the mercy seat, flying with us, because we didn't have no power, because we needed the substance of a man to be born. So Jesus didn't need the substance of a man to be born, because he was Son of God, but I needed the substance of a man to be born. We all 3 came down attached to on one to another. This part of Isaiah was the first beginning before when we was coming down to be born. John the Baptist was going to come down to be born in the spirit of Elijah, and I was going to be born to the spirit in the spirit of Moses. But we all had to be slain in format of 3 years. But I couldn't be born as a human being, because my appointed time was not until the return of Jesus Christ, to be a witness upon the return. That's reading it gave you a symbol of the wings covering the feet. So what happened was, God left me attached onto Jesus Christ to be a witness that Jesus was no son of man, because I need the substance of a man to be born.